Well, time now for New Zealand sporting history, and joining us today, it's Amelia Kerr. Now, Amelia, or Amelia as we call her, plays cricket for Wellington and internationally for New Zealand. Her achievements include being the youngest person to score a double century in a one-day international, 232 not out, against Ireland. And then she came back and took 5 wickets in that match as well. It's crazy. More recently, she was named Player of the Tournament in last year's T20 World Cup, after helping New Zealand to lift that trophy. And she joins us for Sporting History now. Hey, Mealy.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm really excited to meet you and to talk to you. And actually, before we get into the cricket, I want to talk about something in your future. You've just become an ambassador for Barnados. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's exciting to become an ambassador for them, and I met with Matt, who kind of runs Barnados here in Wellington, and just was really interested in what they have to do for others, and especially obviously the kids in New Zealand, and their values, I guess, align with mine, and what I want to do in terms of helping others and hopefully providing opportunities for young kids in New Zealand that sometimes don't always get the best head start in life.
Yeah, what do Barnados do, and why did you sort of feel that connection?
Yeah, I guess a lot of it is that early childhood stuff, which is so important in a kid's life, is
Yeah.
those years where having love, support, and places where you can feel safe is so important, and it's what helps shape people into who they are later on in life.
Yeah.
And for me, obviously, mental health has been something really important and something I've spoken up about in my life. And, if there's support networks and people, role models that can help kids not feel alone and for them to have safe spaces to talk to. And that's where, with Barnados, they have the 0800 WhatsApp line, which I hadn't heard about before. And I think, again, that's just another place where kids can go speak to someone without judgment. And it's a place where it's confidential, it's safe, and it's just someone to listen and remind the person that, they're doing their best, and that's good enough.
Yeah, there's obviously a need for it. They're getting 12,000 calls and web chats a year on that line, 0800 WhatsApp. Bernardo's are lucky to have you. And will tell me about your life as a kid and how you discovered cricket.
Love my childhood, big extended whānau, so just kind of grew up like a lot of Kiwis in the backyard playing sport, and that was cricket, that was football, that was rugby, that was everything. And if we weren't playing sport outside, we were playing sport inside the lounge, breaking everything hung up on the walls. So that was kind of my childhood, but I do come from a cricketing family. So yeah, both my parents played for Wellington, and my granddad, he played for New Zealand. So I just grew up playing cricket in boys' sports with my cousins, and that continued on from when I was probably started around 6 years old, 5 years
Yeah.
old, so pretty young.
Did you have role models? Like, was cricket, professional cricket or representative cricket as a young woman, something that you could see it and you could be it?
There wasn't huge amounts of women's sport played on TV when I was a kid,
Yeah.
so I didn't grow up necessarily watching too much cricket at all, but there was a World Cup that was televised in 2010, and that's when I watched the White Ferns, and my dad had taken me to 1 or 2 games when the White Ferns played in Wellington, so I knew of a few players, like I knew Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, Amy Satterthwaite, Sarah McGlashan. So those were players I always looked up to, and but it wasn't very often I got to watch them. But when I did, that inspired me to want to be a White Fern. I didn't think it was going to be a career path because, growing up, women's sport wasn't an option as a career path. But now it is, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And I get to do what I love for my job.
You see plenty of girls in the crowd when you turn out for the White Ferns?
Yeah, it's massive now, boys and girls. But yeah, just you see kind of kids afterwards, and they're wanting your autograph and your signature. And I think, you know, I was that kid once, so being able to give my time and trying to remember the kids' names as well, and try and make them feel special, let them know that one day you might get to play with them because yeah, when I was 10, 11, wanting to play for New Zealand, watching the White Ferns, I would have been that kid. And now I'm playing with Susie and Sophie.
Well, you were playing for them 5 years later. You made your international debut at 16, and I mentioned that incredible double century against Ireland. That was at your first World Cup. Did you feel something special was happening that day?
No, I didn't. It was just any other day. I'm pretty relaxed character when it comes to game day. I don't get too nervous or like to, I guess, stress about it too much. And it's just enjoying the game. And at that point in my career, I was just a bowler for New Zealand and always with the aspirations to become an all-rounder, which I knew was going to take time just with my age and size and getting stronger, hitting the ball harder. And I got
Mm.
to open the batting that day. So I just wanted to make the most of it and enjoy that opportunity that was given to me. And yeah, it just, yeah, I guess it's a day that won't happen again.
Did you feel like you were
And
seeing the ball like a pumpkin?
I was seeing the ball well. I was hitting the ball well. I think I don't remember it too much now, but I do remember just being really clear. I think in the shorter format now, you can often premeditate a lot because, you know, if there's different fields set, you're kind of guessing a little bit what they're going to bowl, where you want to hit the ball. But on that day, I was just really clear and there wasn't
Huh.
much premeditation going on. It was as simple as see ball, hit ball, and yeah, had a bit of luck along the way as you often need in cricket. And yeah, it was special day.
Yeah. Is it um is it complicated when you fulfill your dream that early in life? It seems like perfect, right? It seems like life
Mm.
must be perfect. Your dream is to be in the White Ferns by 16. You're there. You're actually performing, outperforming. Um, but is there any challenge that comes with that?
Um, I think it's very individual. Like if it was somebody else in my shoes, they might find some challenges that I would be fine with, and vice versa. But I guess being so young, I missed out a little bit on, I guess, normal teenage life. With school, I mean, I went to school, but I obviously got a lot of time off school also. So you sometimes miss those social things with your peers. But I was really fortunate to have such a great friend group. And I make sure still to this day that when I'm home, I always have time for those people in my life. And I think that's really important on that connection piece because, you know, when you're traveling the world for sport, you can sometimes get in your own little bubble, but the world's a whole lot bigger than the bubble you're actually living in. And yeah, there definitely were challenges along the way, but I think for me as an athlete, I always just wanted to keep getting better. So yes, I made the White Ferns and achieved my goal of making the White Ferns, but that's not really for me where it stopped. I guess I had, when I first made the team, aspirations to consistently be in the best team in the 11, to want to be an all-rounder, to want to be one of the best players in the world, to continue to keep performing for my country. So um, always that mindset of wanting to get better. But I think sometimes as an athlete, you think perfectionism is a thing, and you achieve something, and instead of celebrating that goal
Yeah.
or reflecting it, you move on to the next
Yeah.
goal. So you often don't give yourself a break in that way. Um, so I think that's something to learn, especially as Kiwis, because we don't like praise. We don't, you know, we often don't worry about that stuff and try to
Yeah,
be critical of ourselves.
yeah.
But I think we need to get better at celebrating success.
And what happened in 2021?
Yeah, I guess I struggled probably with my mental health for a while, probably from 2019, 2020. And in 2020, I had about 3 months in Australia in a bubble playing cricket. So that was a different period of my life for everyone. But that bubble was something completely different. And before having gone to Australia, one of my best mates who I interviewed in Treading Water, his younger brother um, sadly took his own life,
Gosh.
and the impact that had on his family and the community in Tawa. And then I think that just makes you think a whole lot more deeply about life. And then being in this bubble, but I got myself back into a pretty good place that summer. But then 6 months later, I got injured, and that kind of took away my place where I felt safe. Um, for me, felt like if I went to training, that was my meditation, and going to hit cricket balls was the one place in the world my mind was so clear. Because outside of cricket, the thoughts in my head, my mind would be racing. So that when that got taken away from me, I couldn't train, and I kind of lost my happy place
Yeah.
and that place that gave me a break in life. And that's when it all kind of came tumbling down.
Tough decision to make to take a break from cricket, and knowing that a lot of people will be asking questions and that you'll be making headlines. And do you remember making that decision and how hard it was?
Yeah, I do. I was lucky. I have great support at that time. I had great support from my family. And, I missed a tour to the UK, and had people in my life struggle with mental health and see people lose their life because of depression, that I wanted to be honest about it, because if I was going to hide away from it, it was in a way me not normalizing it and saying that it's not okay to speak up about it. So
Mm.
I wanted to be honest, because I know if I had to keep what I was feeling in my head for a secret for so long, because that's what I thought you had to do, and it was a protection piece. Whereas help is so important, and being open's helped me a lot. So yeah, it was a bit scary when that came out, and at that point, people asking why, what's wrong, and at that point, I wasn't ready to speak about what I was feeling or anything. It was just being honest as to why I was missing the tour. But yeah, I had great support around me, yeah, and that helped a lot.
For people listening, feeling in a similar place, did a break help?
Yeah, the break helped. I wasn't in a place at all to go over to the UK and play cricket. It was I could have easily played cricket, but I wasn't ready to be away. And um, we actually went back into lockdown as a country during that time while the team was away. And
Right.
I had moved back to my parents' house as well. So I was surrounded by a lot of support, and I was having weekly sessions with a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And yeah, if I was to be away, then those sessions aren't the same over Zoom. And I knew for me to get back, and the goal was to be back for that World Cup at home. I needed to do a lot of work to get myself back into a positive frame of mind, to want to do what I love again. Which, yeah, it was never that I couldn't getting out of bed sometimes was hard, but it was never that, because I wanted to get up and train, and that still motivated me. But yeah, there was a lot of sad days.
I'm talking to Amelia Kerr from the White Ferns. I'd love to talk about that World Cup win last year, Amelia. How how was the team feeling going into the tournament? As I recall, you weren't the hot favourites.
No, we were far from the hot favourites. I think every tournament, Australia now are the hot favourites
Yeah.
going in. But with World Cups, they're one-off games, and anyone can win. And we had a tough run heading into that World Cup, but we still had belief. And I think a turning point for the team was when we get to the World Cup, we have warm-up games, and we played a warm-up game against South Africa, who have been a really good side for years, and we smashed them in this warm-up game, played really well, and then we played England in another warm-up game and we lost, but also played well again. And I think that gave us a bit of belief that we're like, yeah, we've had a tough run, but we're good enough to beat any team. And then we played India in game one, and put together probably our best performance at the World Cup apart from the final. And I think that moment was like, yeah, we're not far off.
Gosh.
It's game by game, but we're not far off. And so I think that was pretty special, that people didn't believe in us, and for us to still believe in our own abilities and to get to where we did.
And some great games along the way. Do you remember that semi-final against West Indies?
Yeah, that was a goodie. I mean, we should have won that game, I think, a whole lot earlier. Our fielding let us down a little bit, but and Deandra Dottin scared us a bit. But yeah, so yeah, that was a pretty intense game. Came down to the last over, and Susie stepped up as the part-time offie. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of special moments.
Yeah. You got a couple of wickets in that game, I think, and then tell me about the final and how you were feeling going into it against South Africa.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I don't get too nervous about cricket, but I remember actually waking up that morning, and the games aren't played till night, which I quite like, but I remember waking up that morning and feeling a bit nervous, which
Long
was
wait.
like the first time ever. Yeah, so I was a bit nervous. There's a long wait, but then I just got on with the rest of my day like I normally do, and the nerves went away. And I don't think about the game too much until I like to get there. But I had a message from an old coach that morning, who one of the greatest coaches I've worked with, and he just said to me, at some point today, just visualize what you want to achieve and how you want to play. So I did that, and turned up to the ground and same routine, and yeah, it was then just in the moment, just like, again, trying to be like any other game. Obviously, the intensity is a little bit higher with it being a final, but yeah, in those moments from a young kid, that's what I used to write about, is playing in World Cup finals and wanting to be the big match player. And for me, it was an opportunity to do that because we made the final, and I wanted to make sure that I had a real impact on that game because, first opportunity in playing in a World Cup final.
Did you have some cramp?
Yeah, it was very hot. Probably the hottest game I've ever played of cricket, and I batted most of the innings with a lot of running and not too many boundaries. So yeah, cramped, and yeah, it made bowling a little bit harder because I couldn't quite get through the crease, because every time I lifted up on my toe, my calf would almost go. Same with
Sheesh.
sprinting in the field. But the wickets in Dubai were quite slow, so it didn't matter too much. It just meant I had to bowl as a spinner a little bit slower than my usual pace, which actually worked on that wicket. But yeah, there was no way I wasn't going to not be on the park.
Mm. Do you remember the moment that you won?
Yeah, I think that in a way the special thing was with the last over, we knew we'd won the game. And so in that moment, I kind of let myself feel that a little bit. So often you see finals where it comes down to the last ball and you get that moment as soon as the last ball's bowled, but it was a time to actually have a little bit of reflection, and that was special. It was quite emotional, actually, just thinking of the journey and the journey of the whole team, especially, Sophie and Susie, and what they've done for New Zealand cricket. And yeah, to just something I've dreamed about since I was 9 years old, winning a World Cup for New Zealand. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was nice to kind of feel that in that last moment and that last over.
You mentioned Sophie at the trophy presentation. She described you as a once in a generation player. It's really she spoke so highly of you, and that's nice to hear because for a lot of that team that was probably their last World Cup. It was a bit of a, I guess, a multi-generational team almost. What a great way to
Mm.
wave them off and thank them for their service to New Zealand cricket.
Yeah, I mean they've done so much for New Zealand cricket, and they started when it wasn't a profession. It was representing your country for free, and it wasn't their job. So to think of, I guess, the journey they've been on in their careers, and they've also been in some finals before and had that heartbreak. So for a couple of our greats of New Zealand cricket to have a World Cup win and achieve what they have in their careers, and to add that to it is pretty special. And I again always said, like, I want to win a World Cup for them one day, because they're two of the greats. So I think, yeah, it's pretty special. And yeah, hopefully they got a few more in there. We got the 50 over World Cup this year,
Yeah.
so it'd be nice to take
For
that
that
one home.
for that T20 World Cup, it was reported that you earned $205,000. That each?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
almost
there's obviously
life-changing money,
prize
Millie.
money. Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, the media always make it sound better. There's tax,
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
so you lose about 40% of it. But yeah, like it's not what you play for, but it's a nice reward and bonus. And I think, obviously sometimes that thing with money comes out, but if you're doing your job, and for us at that moment being the best in the world, it's a nice reward for a great achievement.
Yeah. And a cool measure of the growth of the women's sport, right? 10 years ago, even that would have been unthinkable. 20 years ago, people would have thought you were joking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just to think of how much the game's growing, and over the years, it's exciting to see it needed to happen, but it's awesome to see where women's cricket is heading, and as well as other women's sports around the world. But I think, especially in other countries, women's cricket is leading the way.
I'm talking to Amelia Kerr. Okay, so tell me about this ODI World Cup in October. How are you feeling? You're still so young. What are you, 25 years old? We're very excited.
24.
We're still 24. Okay, so we're very excited to have you in the team for the foreseeable future. And how's prep going for that? It's Sri Lanka, isn't it? No. Is it? Where is it being
Yeah,
held?
we've got games in Sri Lanka
Right.
and in India as well. Yeah, so it's in India, but we play Pakistan and Sri Lanka, so
Okay.
it's across both countries.
What
Um,
is it like playing cricket in India for starters?
I love playing cricket there.
Yeah. Do you feel like a star
I've
there?
they love it. So yeah, they ride the wave of cricket and the emotions, and the crowd gets behind it, and it it's an amazing place to go for cricket. It does, when I come home, it makes me appreciate the simplicity and the
Yeah.
peacefulness of New Zealand. But it's an amazing place to play cricket because they love it. The grounds are awesome. I love playing at the grounds there. Lightning fast outfields, and yeah, obviously the pitches they change quite a bit. I've played on some of the best wickets in my life in India, where it's so flat and nice to bat on, and then
Great.
later on in tournaments they start to turn a little bit. So as an all-rounder, I don't get too bothered about what the wicket's like, because it's going to suit me at something, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an amazing place to go for cricket, and yeah, it's exciting. And for a lot of our girls, they haven't spent much time in India, so that's going to be another cool opportunity for them.
Your first game against Australia.
Yeah, big game. I think it's quite good having them first up. With the T20 World Cup last year, we had India, first up, and they were favourites as well at that tournament. And I think, yeah, everyone's on the same playing field when you get there. It's a fresh start, and I mean, with Australia having been so successful for so many years, ranked the number one team in the world, World Cups are where you want to play them, because I guess in a way they've got more to lose. They're
Yeah,
expected to win.
true.
If they don't win, they haven't achieved what they're supposed to achieve. So I think that's a great time to be able to play a country like Australia. And it takes one good game to beat any team in the world. So it's exciting.
Women's cricket has been confirmed for the 2028 Olympics, Millie.
Yeah,
Gosh, wouldn't that be
which is,
amazing if cricket
again,
took you to the Olympics?
it would be. I mean, as a kid, you grow up watching World Cups and you grow up watching the Olympics every 4 years. And, we had a little bit of a taste of the Commonwealth Games a few years back, which was an awesome event to be involved with. And I guess the thing about the Olympics representing New Zealand is you're not just representing the White Ferns, it's Team New Zealand. And I think that community and spending time with different athletes is probably the most special part about the Olympics.
Yeah.
You obviously get to see, again, so many people who work so hard at their craft, express themselves in all their different sports. And yeah, hopefully that goes through with the women's cricket at the Olympics, because it's yeah, again, that's the other thing that you dream of as a kid.
Have you thought at all about life beyond cricket? You'd be, don't you expect you to have at 24 and with so much of your playing career ahead of you, but do you think about life in your 40s and 50s?
Yeah, I think it's natural at times to think about your future, and I don't really know what I want to do, or what I'm going to do. And I know that what I'm doing in the mental health space as well with I'm Hope and the videos I create, I
Mm.
love. I love helping people, and those are things I'm really passionate about. I enjoy how team environments work, and trying to get the best out of people, and how you've got to build relationships and understand how different people work to get the best out of them. Like in a sporting environment, there might be people that need a bit of a rocket, and can handle a hard word, and that gets the best out of them. But then there's other people that need a bit of love and a hug to help get the best out of them. So I enjoy all of those things. And family's a massive one for me, growing up with a huge family, in terms of all my cousins and everyone around. Having a family of my own is something I've always wanted to do. But I'm obviously 24, so I've got a bit of time for that. So I don't know what the future holds, but yeah, it excites me, and it also scares me a little bit.
We're so excited to have you in the team. And it's been great to meet you today. Thank you very much for being so generous with your time. Amelia Kerr, she's an ambassador for Barnardo's. She mentioned that Barnardo's helpline or support line earlier, 0800 What's Up? And we'll look forward to seeing her in the Women's ODI, One Day International World Cup later on in the year. Thank you, Millie.
Thanks heaps. Thanks for having me.